A very serious story is all over the front pages today, and I thought we needed to get a reaction. Three of the three thieves who dragged PC Andrew Harper down the road for a mile and killed him were cleared of murder. Their names are Henry Long, Jesse Cole, and Albert Bowers. They grinned and laughed and smiled throughout the court case, and they are now. They were found guilty just of manslaughter, and this has tremendously upset PC Harper's poor wife, Lissy. She has expressed her dismay. And joining me now is former policeman and campaigner for law and order, Norman Brennan. Hello, Norman.
Yeah, good morning, Kevin.
Your thoughts on this verdict? They're not guilty of murder. They dragged this guy down the road on the back of a car. His foot got stuck in a strap. They were in the process of stealing a quad bike. For a mile he was dragged down the road and it killed him, and that's manslaughter. What do you think about that, and what do you think policemen all over the country will be thinking about that verdict?
Well, I know what the police feel already because I interact with them on social media all the time. What the police family, because we're quite a big family, believe is that three young individuals have got away with murder. Only three people will know the truth, and those are the three people that were in that vehicle. All this nonsense about had I known if a police officer was being dragged behind the vehicle, we would have stopped and given help or run off, is absolute nonsense. I'm aware of, and it's not just a Traveller family, but we're talking about them because that's what they are at the moment, have rammed police vehicles off the road in country and rural areas where they've burgled large mansions and country houses. They have no qualms whatsoever of any injuries that they cause police. And manslaughter is murder without intent. And many of us believe that these three individuals have got away with murder.
And have you spoken to many of your fellow coppers about this? I mean, they must be dismayed, because what I feel about this is, you know, at the very least, this country, British justice, must make a stand to protect police officers in the pursuit of their duties.
I mean, I was a police officer for 31 years. I don't know if I could police in today's era. I mean, today, running on Sky at the moment, it's confrontation between the police and, for example, some of the black community on Stop and Search. And one of the black campaigners is saying that, you know, we're 90% more likely to be stopped out of 100%. But what he and many others always seem to add on is that demographically and statistically, they are responsible for that type of stabbing, shooting, and murders. So we're not likely to stop 50% white people and 50% black people. We stop the people that we suspect, A, are involved in them, are carrying weapons, or involved in drugs. And we've got a choice, really, in society. We either don't stop and search black suspects or any suspects, and we let them get on with it, or we have got the job to do to stop right and wrong, good and bad. And police officers are putting their lives on the line day in and day out. And the mainstream media, Kevin, I mean, you know, yours is one of the stations that allows people like me to actually give the alternative side. They just give a narrative that all police are bad, all police are racist, and they've got nothing better to do than stop and search black suspects. Well, 24 hours a day, police officers save lives. They stop people from committing suicide. They arrive very quickly on scenes and save people's lives. They stop people committing crime. They arrest people that have committed serious crime. And they're the friend of the public. And that never, ever is put over in the narrative. They're seen in the negative. Well, all these officers are men and women with families. They have feelings, they hurt, they cry, they bleed, and they die. And the sad reality, too many of my colleagues are bleeding and too many are dying. And here we've got another police officer that will probably be forgotten, not by the police family, but many in society, that this officer didn't even have to take this call, but did, because that's the type of thing police officers do. They back up their colleagues. And for him doing that, it cost him his life. And as Lizzie rightly said yesterday, it was the wrong verdict. The sentences, I'm afraid, will be as shocking as the crime next Friday when they're all sentenced at the Old Bailey.
We fear that there is a way to rectify this situation. And by the way, we should point out there's a suspicion of jury nobbling in this case, that the jurors had to have protection because the families or the associates of these three characters were suspected of trying to nobble the jury to terrify them into not passing a murder verdict. So that's one caveat. But there is a way out of this. The judge, you can sentence people to life for manslaughter. Would you like to see that?
Well, even if he gave them life, he will put a minimum tariff on it. When you're convicted of murder, for example, you shoot someone dead, you'll probably get 26 years. You serve the entire tariff of 26 years. When it comes to manslaughter, because it's murder without intent, a judge will give a determined sentence. For example, you will serve life, but with a minimum term of 8 years. Well, in this particular case, I think it was Long, the main offender, that pleaded guilty to manslaughter. He will have a reduction of his sentence by a third, and also all three will have a reduction in their sentences because of their ages. And I'm certain that all three will not be sentenced to much more than 10 years. And if there isn't a tariff put on them, then they will serve 50% of that.
Yeah, and then get a couple of years off for good behaviour, so they'll end up with doing 3 years. So would it be an exaggeration, Norman, of me to suggest that every police officer in the land thinks that this case has made a mockery of British justice?
That would be fair to say. The police family today are very demoralised anyway, because they're blamed for all wrongs in society, and this just goes and epitomises the risks that police officers take on behalf of society in keeping them safe. And the caveat to this as well, Kevin, as you've got to ask yourself, is that I recall during the evidence, Long, I think, is stated that his father was a criminal, his grandfather is a criminal. So basically what he was saying is my whole family are criminals, and the next generation, by the sounds of it, will become criminals, and it's the police that have to challenge these. And the sad reality when you're dealing with travellers is that most police officers will never go on any of their sites. They will only go on sites if they've got 2 or 3 van loads and a helicopter up there. And some people, and rightly so, understandably so, believe that some people within the travelling fraternity are habitual criminals. They commit the most serious of crimes, and they think they're untouchable as soon as they get back on their own turf.
If that's the case, I don't think that this court case has done the system any favours at all. Norman, thank you so much for your time on a Saturday morning. That was Norman Brennan, former policeman and a campaigner for police rights in today's turbulent times. I'm Kevin O'Sullivan, and this is Talk Radio.